Let's go over the first course of the Google Data Analytics program while I do crafts. In this video, I'll be going over the general topics that the course covers, what I liked versus what I disliked about the course, and any tips I can give about passing or just getting through the course. And then I will be going further in depth on the topic, so this video is a great video to use if you're studying for like the final test. And for the craft side, I will be making earrings inspired by my trip to Georgia Aquarium today. I went to the dolphin show. So in this first course, it covers an introduction to data analytics, thinking analytically, exploring the world of data, that's like the data lifecycle, and data analysis process. Setting up a data toolbox, so that goes over like a quick introduction to spreadsheets, query languages, and data visualization tools. And it also goes over discovering data career opportunities. Now onto what I liked versus disliked about this course. Let's start with what I liked about the course. I liked the instructor of the videos, let's call him, or a lecturer. He did a good job at bringing life to what I previously thought was a lifeless process. He was very passionate about what he was teaching, so he was also bringing forth his personal experiences working with data, and there were also other people that came in and spoke on specific topics in their area of expertise, and that did a good job of adding some context and also life to something that seems very cold and calculated in some sense. On to what I disliked about the course. Now, I found this first course incredibly wordy, which makes sense, which also is kind of like a plus, because this is the first course. It's gonna go over, like it's literally in the name, it's a foundation of the courses to follow. So it goes over certain definitions, gives you a general grasp of what the rest of the course will be like. As for tips on how to complete the course or to like motivate yourself through it, I would highly suggest pacing yourself, because it's very wordy. It's very easy to just get bored over time. The classes are pretty short. Take a class here, there, but like consistently. It'll help. Trust me. Now I'll be moving into a more in-depth coverage of what was taught in that first course. But this is also when I get to start my crafts. Yay! Favorite part. Okay, let's start with an introduction to data analytics. What is data analytics? Data analytics is the collection, transformation, and organization of data in order to draw conclusions, make predictions, and drive forward decision-making. This has 6 phases. The 6 phases of the data analysis process are as follows. Ask, which is a business challenge, objective, or question. Prepare, which is data generation, collection, storage, and data management. Process, which is data cleaning or data integrity. Analyze, which is data exploration, visualization, and analysis. Share, which is communicating and interpreting results. Act, which is putting insights to work to solve the problem. An example of this in process would be an analyst asking questions to define both the issue to be solved and what would equal a successful result. Next, they prepare by building a timeline and collecting data with employee surveys that are designed to be inclusive. They then process the data by cleaning it to make sure it is complete, correct, relevant, and free of errors and outliers. Then they would analyze the clean employee survey data, then share their findings and recommendations with team leaders. Afterwards, leadership would act on the results, focused on improving key areas. Dimensions of data analytics. This covers decision intelligence. This is the combination of applied data science and social and management sciences. Harnessing the power and beauty of data. There are different specializations of data analytics that can match your personality, and in this course they go over two of these examples, which are machine learning, which is to automate and make many decisions under uncertainty. This values performance. Then there's statistics, a few important decisions under uncertainty, and in this case, rigor is prioritized. Another important thing to know is the difference between data analysis and data analytics. So data analysis is the collection, transformation, and organization of data in order to draw conclusions and make decisions, while data analytics is a broad concept that encompasses everything from managing and using data to the tools and methods that data workers use every day. Another topic that the course covers is the data analytics life cycle. This cycle has 6 steps, similar to its process, but it's not to be mistaken for its process. The 6 steps are plan. So business decides what kind of data it needs, how it will be managed, who will be responsible for it, and its optimal outcomes. Capture. This is where data is captured from a variety of sources. Manage. This covers how we store our data, how we keep it secured, who has access to it, the tools used to do so, and the actions taken to make sure that it's maintained properly. Analyze. This is where results shine. This step is where the data is analyzed to make informed, data-driven decisions. Archive. Storing data in a place where it's still available when it's not being actively used. Destroy. To safely get rid of data that is no longer needed in a way that maintains the company's privacy and the privacy of the people the data was collected from. All about analytical thinking. Analytical thinking is the thought process of identifying and defining a problem, then solving it by using data in an organized and step-by-step manner. There are 5 key aspects to analytical thinking. A checklist. Visualization, which is the graphic representation of information, for example, graphs and maps. Strategy. Strategizing helps data analysts see what they want to achieve with the data and how they can get there. It also helps improve the quality and usefulness of the data collected. Problem-oriented. Data analysts use a problem-oriented approach in order to identify, describe, and solve problems. Correlation. Being able to identify a correlation between 2 or more pieces of data. A correlation is like a relationship. And also keep in mind, correlation does not equal causation. Big picture thinking. Being able to see the whole picture as well as its details. Some questions data analysts ask when they're on the hunt for answers or a solution. What is the root of the problem? If you can identify and get rid of a root cause, then you can prevent it from happening again. This can be done using the 5 whys technique. And it's pretty much just asking why 5 times. Question 2. What are the gaps in the process? And this pretty much touches on the use of gap analysis. Gap analysis is a method for examining and evaluating how a process works. Currently, in order to get where you want to be in the future, you need to understand where you are versus where you want to be. Then you can identify the gaps that exist in between the current and future states. That way you can better determine how to fix them. Another great question is, what did we not consider before? This is a great way to think about what information or procedure might be missing from a process. So if you can identify ways to make better decisions and strategies moving forward. Setting up a data toolbox. A quick introduction to spreadsheets, query languages, and data visualization tools. Spreadsheets. Data analysts rely on spreadsheets to collect and organize data. 2 popular spreadsheet applications you will probably use a lot: Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets. Spreadsheets help you collect, store, organize, and sort information, identify patterns, and piece data together in a way that works for each specific data project, create excellent data visualizations like graphs and charts. The three main features of a spreadsheet are cells, rows, columns, displayed in this graph here. There are other things in spreadsheets like attributes. An attribute is a characteristic or quality of data used to label a column in a table, sometimes referred to as column names. Column labels, headers, header row. Dataset, a collection of data, example, in a table in a spreadsheet. Within the dataset, a singular line of horizontal data is where you'd find the observation. Observation, all of the attributes for something contained in a row of data table. Here you have databases and query languages. A database is a collection of structured data stored in a computer system. Some popular structured query language (SQL) programs include MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, and BigQuery. Query languages. Query languages allow analysts to isolate specific information from a database. It makes it easier for you to learn and understand the requests made to databases. It allows analysts to select, create, add, or download data from a database for analysis. Now we go deeper into SQL. SQL Guide. Getting started. Just as humans use different languages to communicate with others, so do computers. Structured Query Language, or SQL, enables data analysts to talk to their databases. SQL is one of the most useful data analyst tools, especially when working with large data sets in tables. So what is a query? A query is just a question. A query is a request for data or information from a database. When you query a database, you use SQL to communicate your question or requests. So SQL is a language used to request or ask a database a question. Every programming language, including SQL, follows a unique set of guidelines known as syntax. Syntax is the predetermined structure of a language that includes all required words, symbols, punctuation, as well as their proper placement. The syntax of every SQL query is the same. We use select to choose the columns you want to return. We use from to choose the tables where the columns you want are located. You use where to filter for certain information. Here's an example of a query. The query on the screen uses 3 commands to locate customers with the first name Tony. Line 1, select the column named first_name. From the table named customer name, which is a dataset named customer data. The dataset name is always followed by a dot and then the table name, but only return the data where the first name is Tony. A query can have multiple columns. If you were requesting multiple data fields from a table, you would need to include these columns in your select command. Each column is separated by a comma, as shown on screen. Here's an example of how it would appear in the software program BigQuery. The query on screen uses 3 commands to locate customers with a first name Tony. First, selects the column named customer ID, first name, and last name from the table named customer name in a dataset named customer data. The dataset name is always followed by a dot and then the table name, just a reminder, but only return the data where the first name is Tony. So the only difference between this query and the previous one in the example is that there are more data columns that are selected. The previous query selected first name only, while this query selects customer ID, last name, in addition to first name. In general, this is a more efficient use of resources to select only the columns that you need. For example, it makes sense to select more columns if you actually use the additional fields in your where clause. If you have multiple conditions in your where clause, they might be written like this. And as a quick note, for each additional table, they need their own line for it to work. These examples can be progressed. Visualization tools. Data analysts use a number of visualization tools like graphs, maps, tables, charts, and more. And two popular softwares that they use are Tableau and Looker. These tools turn complex numbers into a story people can understand, help stakeholders come to conclusions, and have multiple fun and nifty features. The course doesn't go too deep into them, as again, they're just introducing them. Here are some steps to plan data visualization. First step, you would explore the data for patterns. Next, you'll plan your visuals and decide which is most effective for who you'll be presenting to and which will be more effective for what you'll be presenting. Step 3 is to create your visuals and then to share them. This last section of the course covers finding the right job for you, and it briefly touches on different career paths for a data analyst. Here are some examples. Business analysts analyzes data to help businesses improve processes, products, or services. Data analytics consultant analyzes the systems and models for using data. Data engineer prepares and integrates data from different sources for analytical use. Data scientist uses expert skills in technology and social science to find trends through data analysis. Data specialist organizes or converts data for the use in databases or software programs. Operations analyst analyzes data to assess the performance of business operations and workflows. The differences between data analysts, data scientists, and data specialists. Some other knowledge that is thrown into this section of the course is the introduction to what a business task is. So the business task is a question or problem data analysis answers for a business. It also touches on understanding data and fairness. Because analysts get into contact with so much data, it's important for them to be fair in their analysis because they hold a lot of power with the knowledge that they have and how they use it and how they use the resources that they have. It also touches on fair and ethical decisions, because if you have that much information at your fingertips or data at your fingertips, you have to be committed to actually improving the lives of people by using data rather than to screw them over. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this process. Look at them, tiny whale sharks. They're so cute. More because I'm super proud of how they turned out. Because what the hell? Oh my god, look at that. Look at it. Send it to me, Rachel. Okay. Oh, it's getting really dark. Hello. Why is the exposure desposuring? Bravo. Stop it. Anyways, thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.